Hello there. Well, it's about to be April. Gosh, 1/4 of the year is already gone. March felt like it went by rather slow. I don't know, maybe it's because I'm back in person for school, and the days don't blend together like they did when I was online. For April's monthly spread, I figured I'd use some of my India inks for it since I already had them out, because I'd used them for a card I made for my aunt for her birthday. I've never really used wet media in my bullet journal before, so I don't really know how this is going to go, but we shall see. The page to the left of my monthly setup is a reflection page for the book, The Secret History by Donna Tartt. I finally finished it. I had been reading it since May of last year. I really enjoyed it. It had an interesting story and plotline and interesting characters. The thing I really liked the most about it had to have been the writing style, though. It was so beautifully written, and even though I don't want to pursue writing as a career, I still like to write short stories and things, and this writing style is really inspiring to me. So even if the story of this book is rather dark, I'm glad I read it since I got to experience this beautiful writing style. I just set up the page for the reflection here. I'll write the reflection later when I have time to actually write. For the design, I just kind of did like an eye, since for my animation assignment I mentioned in my previous video, an eye is the main subject of the little animated loop. So I just went with this eye design for this one. The painting itself was just any ink on the paper, as mentioned before. I don't think I'll do this again or use wet media in my bullet journal. And the pages are rather thin. The journal is Alois term 1917, and the paper did warp a little bit. Not too badly. I tried to be careful with how much liquid I was putting on the paper, but it still did warp some. And I don't really like the result of it. It didn't come out the way I thought it would be, and it was a little sloppier than I had hoped it would be. Well, that's okay. Not every page of my journal needs to be picture perfect. I'm glad, though, I tried it out, though I wouldn't have known that wet media wouldn't have worked so well in this notebook if I hadn't tried it. So I'm glad I went and tried this new thing. For the weekly setup, I did something a little different. It's still the same general layout with the 7 columns for each days, but for the columns I made them only 5 spaces wide rather than the usual 6 I do. I wanted to make space on the left side of the 2-page spread to put the habit trackers. Last month I had put them on the monthly spread, and I found myself not really returning back to them. So I figured, what if I put them on my weekly spread? I just left them as the big monthly overview for the habit tracker, since I like to see the progress I've made with that habit over the month. Maybe having these on my weekly spread will remind me to do the habits and then also to mark down when I do them. Because of the space on the left side of the spread, I made a bigger to-do list and a bigger list for things that are happening next week or that are due next week. I'm not sure if I will use all the space there, but it's nice to try out having a little bit larger space for that. I'll see if I like the smaller columns in a wider space on the left-hand side for extra things, like whether it be a notes section. Maybe I'll bring that back from past spreads, and a larger to-do list, and then the habit trackers. We'll see how that goes. Hopefully this works out rather well. I also like how, this larger spread, I could draw these larger to-do lists in next week overview and incorporate more of the color I used for this week into it, since before there wasn't much of the color of the week in my weekly spreads. I don't really like how the monthly spread turned out, or either of those spreads I did use India ink with. The monthly spread did warp the page a little with the ink I put on the page, and both of them came out rather sloppy looking. Part of that probably is my own fault, but I don't think I'll do that again. I'm not mad that this spread wasn't successful again. I learned that what media doesn't work so well in this journal, and it's not something that I like to do in this format. I guess I prefer it in more of a fine arts situation. Even if this spread didn't come out as nice looking, not every spread in your bullet journal needs to be aesthetically pleasing or perfect. First and foremost, they're meant to be functional, and you can make it look nice if you want to, or you don't have to. It's just a matter of personal preference. My monthly spread for April doesn't look great, but it's still functional, and I'm glad I got the chance to try something new. And I did something different with my weekly spread, and I kind of really liked how it looks aesthetically, and we'll see if the function holds up as well. Thank you for watching. Like, comment, and subscribe if you liked the video and would like to see more. And until next time, goodbye.